how's it going? Thanks so much for checking out this video. My name is Ray, there's one of me, and I've been playing guitar now for 31 years. I started when I was 10 years old. I started playing bass when I was 12 years old, and it's crazy how far into my humble tenure as a musician that I didn't know that this kind of instrument existed. I had heard rumors through the ether that artists like Jack Bruce of the band Cream played a 6-string bass, but in my head, I don't know, I just pictured a 6-string bass like you see nowadays, those huge fat necks with 6 big bass strings that you play traditionally. But it wasn't until I was watching, I'm a huge Aerosmith fan, and I was watching this behind the scenes documentary, and they showed that Joe Perry played a bass 6 type guitar on the song Back in the Saddle. His was a Music Man, and but yeah, he put it through amplifiers and they were distorted, and he played that, that awesome riff on there and played it more like a guitar, and even plays solos on it and bends notes and stuff. And so I kind of like, wow, that's kind of cool. It'd be kind of neat to get like a bass 6 kind of instrument. And it really wasn't until I was watching the whole Beatles Get Back documentary that came out a few years ago. And I noticed every time Paul McCartney would play piano, John Lennon, pick up the bass. And his was a true 60s Fender bass 6. Today, we're going to be looking at this Squier bass 6. For one thing, this is a hell of a lot cheaper than a real bass 6, a real Fender one. The Squier ones, I think, I'll have to put in a little thing, I'll insert here, but I think I got this around for $430. They might be similar to what it priced now. But yeah, it's got 3 pickups. You can, turn them on and off. It's got a bass kill switch. Again, I'm not really a huge specs guy, but I do love the pickup configurations. It's just a unique instrument. And is it a bass? Is it a guitar? It's kind of both. And so yeah, all the playing examples today are all my own original music or co-written with my friend Paul. I have links in my link tree below. So yeah, man, let's get into this. Let's get into the playing, and at the end, I'll tell you what I think about this thing. Here's my signal chain today. The beauty of bass is you just go direct into the interface, the Focusrite 2i2. And I have that going into Reaper, which is my DAW. And I'm actually using a DSP. It's Bias Effects by Positive Grid. This is the older one, but I was able to bring up a 69 Blue Line bass amp, which to me kind of looks like an Ampeg kind of vibe. Bass, man, it's always important to have some compression to just kind of keep everything even. And usually you don't really add reverb to the bass in a mix. Sometimes you can, but just to make it not sound completely dead or just weird to the ear where it's like just too dry, I added just the tiniest. I mean, like you wouldn't even maybe hardly perceive it, just a little bit of reverb. So that is the signal chain today. these last two examples, I hit the kill switch. There's a bass kill switch that takes the bass away, and it makes it less muddy, and you can play chords a little easier. So for these tones here, I have the same bass amp, the 69 Blue Line, but I added in the drive, just the tiniest bit of overdrive. And I also added in where it says mod, sorry, it's not focusing. Where it says mod, I added some chorus to both of these. So I have a little bit of grit, a little bit of chorus to add on to it. I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun demoing this thing today. I just love all the combinations of the pickups, you know, with all this here. I think there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 different pickup combinations. If I got all that right, let me know if I'm wrong. And then also there's this bass kill switch. And when you engage that, it takes some of the bass away, and then it's easier to play the chords and they don't get so muddy. So is it a bass? Is it a guitar? It's a bass guitar in the most literal sense. You know, it's strung just like a guitar, it's tuned just like a guitar, but it's just 1 octave lower than a guitar. But yeah, these are bass 6 strings from Fender. I'm trying to think, man. Some of my gripes about this bass is definitely the bridge and the trem system. For one thing, here we go again. Watch. Ah, it's actually staying in. But this thing, I was like earlier, of course it doesn't do it when I'm on camera, but earlier I was just bending down to change some settings on something, and the whammy bar just fell right out of it. Again, we don't have a screw-in whammy bar. Now, in the comments, someone had said about like with different guitars that sometimes they don't always have the screw-in. And I know that on my friend's Jazzmaster, he's like an American Jazzmaster. It's a pretty nice one. I think he spent a decent buck on it. It definitely has a screw-in one. So I don't know if maybe that's just a way to, you know, cut pricing down, because they don't put like, but I don't know, how much does it really cost to add, you know, some screwing in here so that you can, like, you know, actually be able to use this. That doesn't have a whole lot of range either. Like, I really have to wail on this thing to hear any of the vibrato. So yeah, the floating bridge, the trem system, you know, I don't even know that it's like something you could say, you could bitch that it's Squier. this design in general, this kind of Jaguar Jazzmaster design, I've heard a lot of people complain about them, even on the high end Jazzmasters, Jaguars, and even bass, Fender bass sixes. You know what I mean? These floating bridges. I would love like maybe more of a locked down bridge. And the trem system's fine. I just really wish it could screw in. I'm trying to think, man. The pickups I think sound fine. This is a tricky instrument to set the action. I've been having a real struggle with that. I get the neck nice and straight, and then it's just like buzzing out on me. It's like fretting out, and then I raise the action, and then it's like bowing, and it's like, I don't know, it's just a lot of tension on this neck. So that's definitely a tricky part, is to like get the action right. You might have still heard a little bit of fret buzz here and there, but I got it to about the point where it's like the action was low enough that it was playable and it wasn't buzzing too bad. And I felt like the buzzing was just kind of adding some grit to it. I don't know if I have some high frets. It's very possible. The fretboard itself, though, it feels really good. It's this, it's got the skunk stripe and all that. So, and yeah, I mean, it's very, very nice. Like, honestly, from far away, you would never know this is a Squier. And this is also I think this is their Classic Vibe series. So it's definitely the highest end Squier you get before you get into like the Fender Mexican mades. And then, from there you get into the Player series and then finally into American made. But I'm telling you what, man, this is a really fun guitar to play, despite its flaws and its quirks. Like, I don't know, I just can't help playing this thing. Now, before you get all gaslit, oh my God, he's using a pick. There's this meme, I'll put it in here, where it shows like this super like hardcore criminal, and he's sitting next to this little dude in a jail cell, and he's like, what are you in here for? He's like, I play bass with a pick. And then the huge guy was scared of him because he plays bass with a pick. But this kind of instrument, the way it's strung up, the strings are closer together. So really, you want to kind of play with a pick, more like a guitar. But in the song, the one song I was playing, Gone in a Heartbeat, if you noticed, I was kind of doing some kind of snapping, doing some hybrid picking. So honestly, if you were to like use a finger style, you'd probably have to use more. Sorry, no stairway denied. But you'd probably have to use more of a classical finger style. If you can hear that at all on the microphone, that'd probably be the way to go. I mean, to use a traditional bass, it's very awkward to play like a traditional bass. So that's why I used the pick. And I really just like the tone with this guitar with a pick. When I play like a P bass or a jazz bass or any kind of traditional 4-string, I do both. I play finger style and I play with a pick, depending on what the song needs, Sometimes the song's real thrashy, punky or something, and you really want that pick sound. And sometimes the song's a little warmer or something, and you want the fingers. So I feel like bass players should be able to do both, be able to slap with the bass, be able to play with a pick, and be able to play finger style. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's fun to play. It does have some quirks with the bridge and the trem. The pots work great. Nothing, that's the thing. I didn't even demonstrate like the tone. Like, I mean, you could get even more sounds just backing off the tone, but I really think it sounds good when I just have the tone on fold, and you can really hear the character of the pickups more. If you roll the tone off, you just kind of lose some of that, and it just sounds kind of like low end. This thing does have some thump. Some people say that the bass sixes don't have enough low end. When you have this like on stage through a big 15 or like an 8x10 cab, trust me, man, it rumbles. I played this thing at the Arlington Music Hall. I've played it in Fort Worth, Texas. And yeah, man, freaking, you get a nice big stage with a big amp. This thing is thumping. It has a lot of low end. So don't worry about it not being bassy enough or beefy enough. I think it is. One last thing before I go here, the intonation, like actually all of these intonate pretty well on the saddles here, but the E, that is like, no matter how far you get this thing back, it's one of those situations where it's always gonna be a little bit sharp. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just really tricky to get this low E in tune. I've heard of some tricks you might be able to do. I haven't tried it yet. Sometimes I get a little nervous. I don't wanna like do too much to an instrument and then I just screw it up. But yeah, guys, thank you as always for watching. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I've been really having fun, like really making a go of this YouTube channel. I'm on a lot of different platforms. For a while, I did like TikTok more. but now that TikTok is really slowing down, and, just the TikTok shop and just all that bullshit. I don't know, man. I'm just not vibing with TikTok as much anymore. I have a lot of great people I hang out with, but I really think that YouTube's the place I really want to build a huge community, and then use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. I want to use those as kind of like places where we can just hang out and talk and socialize, and I can just post clips for this. This is like my main thing. This is like the hub, and then everything else I can like kind of clip out to kind of get everybody hopefully to come here. So that's kind of what my plan is these days, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I've seen that I've got some new subscribers. If you've been here since the beginning too, man, you guys are OGs. That's freaking awesome. That's so crazy. Please, leave me comments. I like to answer all the comments. I don't know if I've missed any. If I have, it's just because sometimes they get a little bit buried and I don't see the replies sometimes. But I know that I've always gotten back to that initial comment. If there's some replies, I might have missed those, but that first comment I always get back to, good, bad, or indifferent. I love constructive criticism, whatever you want to say, man. Another thing too, I don't want to make this too long, but reach out to me, man. Even email me. It's on here, oneraymusic@gmail.com. If you're a musician, or, you can DM me on, Facebook or Instagram. If you're also a musician, and especially one who plays full time, but even if you're just doing it, say you're working a full-time job and you're trying to become a musician full time, I would love to chat with you guys, man, and be your support, because I feel like music and mental health are very important, because being a musician is such a roller coaster ride. You really could go high ups and low lows, and you really can deal with anxiety and depression, and just, it's really tough sometimes to be a musician. And, I don't want to sound cliche, but the rejection you could get, even if it's a silent rejection where the people you're reaching out to just ghost you and never get back to you, even though that's, not your typical movie Hollywood scene rejection, it's still a rejection. And I don't know, this is an example, but there's just so many things that being a musician is just really difficult, man. Just staying motivated, staying inspired, all those things, and just putting so much pressure on yourself to succeed. And are you making enough money? Can you keep doing this? Can you pay the bills with a freaking guitar? So if you guys, if you need help, you need support, just someone to freaking talk to, man. I don't have all the answers, but I could definitely listen, and I could, tell you my experience, and maybe somewhere your experience and my experience coming together, it could be pretty awesome. So, but yeah, man, definitely check that out. Lastly, I hate to do this, but the one thing I am really realizing as I'm getting into gear reviews is acquiring gear is very freaking difficult when you're a working musician, and you can't always justify spending money on something, especially when I'm not even monetized yet on YouTube or anything. I even left the TikTok creator program because I play so many cover songs. I don't want to get sued. So if you guys would like to help support, so I can hopefully buy some more instruments. I don't have any deals yet with companies that can send me stuff for free. I don't have any of that kind of stuff yet. So if you're interested in helping, it's completely optional. You don't have to do this at all, but patreon.com/oneraymusic. Actually, I have my patrons listed on the wall: Hexagon Papa, Chuck Johnson, Duke McDonald, Kay Ritchie. I appreciate these guys. These guys have been with me for a while now. I would love to add you to the list. It's only $3 a month to start. That gains you access to my entire backlog of old content. I've done a lot of things over the years that, tried different things, throwing the spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. And so a lot of it I've taken it off of my social media, and I put it on Patreon because, a lot of those things, I didn't want to just delete them because I worked really hard on them, but they don't really fit the new direction I'm going for. So I put them on my Patreon instead. I also have some behind the scenes stuff, and I really want to start shooting some new stuff. Definitely, because those live looping videos I do, for example, I want to do some how I came up with those loops and how I arranged the songs. I want to make videos of how I looped it. I could even do some more stuff with the guitars. Maybe, if you guys have questions, if you become patrons, you could ask me more questions, and I can make special patron-only, member-only videos addressing even more stuff with the Bass 6, the Squier, Stratocaster, or my Gretsch, or any other gear I could do more on Patreon. So patreon.com/oneraymusic. I think that's enough. I have rambled so long. I've made this video so much harder to edit now because I just keep rambling on. But I'm just incredibly grateful for you guys, man. Thank you so much for watching. There's so many other things you could be doing or so much other content you could be watching, and you chose this video. And if you made it this freaking far and you haven't clicked off, please, man, subscribe, ring the bell, leave some comments. I answer all the comments. Hit hit the notification bell, share this video. All of that really helps the algorithm, man. So you guys stay safe, stay well. I'll see you in the next video, man. Take care. Bye.